And that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, how did you, because it can't be all your way. It can't be all their way. You got to meet in the middle. So like, how are you able to adjust and evolve so you can still appeal to these young men, but also get their best version? Like, how was that? That's the balance for you.
Yeah, what I do is I give them a voice. You know, they have to have a voice in what's going on. You know, I've seen you plenty of years over on the sideline having a voice, letting you have the voice because you earn their respect. And to me, when you earn their respect, I allow you to have a voice. If you're not taking care of your business, then we're going to stand on the truth. If I tell you the truth, then we have to stand on that and we have to adjust. If you say something to me that makes sense the same way, then I'll adjust. Let's just be a partnership. It doesn't have to be all my way, even though I'm the coach, but you still today, you have to meet in the middle with these guys and let them feel like that you have the confidence in them and instill confidence in them and have their back, and then they'll go through a wall for you if they know that.
That's so good right there, by the way. That was good.
I mean,
that was preaching right there, P. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So building the trust and establishing this relationship with these young men means all the difference, basically.
Yeah, I look at that in the league as well. I mean, you guys are closer to the league than me, but just watching, it's all about relationships, man. These guys don't want to be yelled at in the NBA. They don't want to be yelled at on this level. They want to be talked to and taught, you know, and then have a voice to say, and I'll ask my guards, how do you want to play that? Because if you want to play it a different way from what I'm saying to you, as long as you do it all out, I'll roll with that. And I got your back. And they'll take that and go, wow, okay, coach, we're going to play it this way. I want to ice everything. I don't want to fight over, or if I don't want a hard hedge or a show, I want to fight over, I want to ice everything. I'm going, okay, let's ice it. Let's just ice it at the highest level that we can ice it. And we'll just agree upon that and roll. But I give them a voice and give them a chance to say, hey, coach, we like it this way. Because the other way, we don't feel like everybody's communicating enough. So it's just been that partnership with me and my guys.
I like that too because it gives a level of accountability. All right, you say you want to do it that way, and they bust their ass doing it that way. It's on you guys. You know what I mean? It puts a force of accountability on them. Okay, like we'll meet in the middle. I like what you said though. We'll meet on the truth, right? Like numbers don't lie. So we'll work this way. But if you guys get killed on it, we got to go back to my way. I like
exactly.
that.
That's the deal.
But the hard thing about that is that's not how we were taught.
No.
Right.
Whatever the coach said, you don't say you do what the scheme is, and you do it as hard as you can. And if it didn't work, you're not doing it hard enough. So how did you evolve to be able to get to that point?
You had to.
Because that's not easy.
Yeah, because it's like what Mike said, you have to, man. When you're a basketball player, we play the game at the highest level, we can adjust. So I'm just adjusting to them like we adjusted in the game, you know, and it makes it easier to identify who's with you. It makes it easier to give them a voice. It makes it easier to understand who's not with you. You know, just hey, I'm not with. It's gonna be one guy every time that's gonna be like, I want to trap everything. Then 13 other guys are saying, no, bro, let's ice. You know, and we'll come to a common ground. But it's like you said, you have to adjust. And I'm okay with adjusting to anything that I have to deal with, all for the greater good of the team.
Hey, we're gonna get back to coaching here in a minute. But I want to talk about you for a little bit because, you know, for all the young people on the listen to OGs and people, one of the coldest basketball players I've ever seen. And growing up in an era, now you know, P, like everyone's got trainers, development guys. We didn't have that. Like you said, you show up at a park. Where did you get your from? Like your flair, your game, like the way you played was so unique, especially at that time.
At that size.
Yeah, talk to us about that because that to me was what made you so unique and so fun to watch. Almost
what
polarizing.
people don't understand is at your size, they used to throw our ass in the post. Every time. They used to throw us in the post, bro.
Yeah, no doubt.
But
polarizing. I would say my style came from, I was blessed to be in a neighborhood, which I didn't know at the time because I was so young. I didn't go to any high school games at all growing up until I got into high school.
Really?
Like I didn't go to any. So I didn't know what was going on in my neighborhood, but it was a high school that I ended up coaching, East High School. They were back-to-back state champs. So our neighborhood was filled with these players. And what they would do, they were really good players. They were D1 players. They would put all the young guys against one another to play one-on-one. And the winner would get like a bag of chips or a soda or some type of candy. It was just some type of reward for us to play against each other. And for me, my style early on was to try to shift somebody. To move them one side and then shift and counter it. And that just came from God. But that was my game. Everybody else was trying to bully ball or run through you. I was trying to shift you. So I learned the hezi and a cross, and then I learned the hezi and go and the hezi shoot. And I just mastered that, and that just kind of went along with my game because I was short for a very long time. 8th grade, I was 5'9".
Wow.
And then from 8th to 9th grade, I went from 5'9" to 6'4". And then 9th to 10th, 6'4" to 6'7". It's just that growth. I was short all those years until going from 8th to 9th grade. So everything I had was built on a hezi. So God-given ability, but to try to shift guys, I basically started doing the hezi, and then the hezi built my game from there.
One of the biggest blessings you had there was playing against older guys and being small, because you had to figure out ways to get your shit. And then all of a sudden you're 6'7" and you got the same way to get the shit. Like that's
that's exactly what happened, man. Yeah. I had to get my shot off on older, taller guys, being shifty, and then as I grew, it stuck with me.
Man. A bag of chips and a soda. You see that?
And I tell you what, knowing this, he'd fight you for him too.
You goddamn right, but that's what I'm talking about, man.
He coming out there with a bag of chips and the soda too.
That's the shit I'm talking about.
So staying home in Memphis and playing at Memphis State at the time, and now coaching at Memphis. How special is that, man? Because I'll be honest with you, it's an unbelievable story of how that happened. You grow up in Memphis, you play at Memphis. You take an iconic NBA career and then come back and coach at Memphis. Like, talk about how that all came full circle.
And why Memphis? Why
Memphis?
Yeah,
because it was for about a 2-week period, Arkansas was like number one. Mm-hmm. Because all my homies from Memphis, Corey Beck, Dwight Stewart, Elmer Martin, Todd Day, these guys went to Arkansas that are from Memphis. And, man, they had me, right? They had me right there. And I took my visit. And, man, I was like, man, I got Todd, I got Elmer, and then Arkansas won a national championship like a year later or 2 years later after I left. But I was supposed to be a part of that Memphis group. And Todd Day, he was with the group when I was in school. They didn't win, but they were always ranked. So my heart for Memphis, Coach Finch's relationship with me and my grandmother kind of won me over. But Arkansas was like right there because of all the Memphis guys. It was a pipeline of Memphis guys. It was probably like 8 guys from Memphis. Arlen Bowers, Clyde Fletcher, wow. Ron Hury, Todd Day, Corey Beck. All these guys went from Memphis. I played AAU with these guys, and we grew up together. And they all chose Arkansas, and I was the only one that chose Memphis. So it was tough. But when obviously the hometown kind of won me over because the city came out and watched me play from 9th grade all the way through. That kind of made me feel like I had to stay at home and not go to Arkansas. If it weren't for the support of the fans coming to see me from 9th grade, I think Arkansas would have probably been able to steal me, but my hometown came out and showed me that support. And then when I got there, obviously, it was a team full of Memphis guys. Yeah. I mean, we really didn't get guys from out of state. Yeah. I don't know why, but we bonded together. We were rivals in high school, and, man, we made it. My sophomore year, we made it to the Elite Eight, one game from the Final Four. And that whole experience of being back home made it special to stay because that's when it wasn't popular to stay at home. The number one player in the country. I could have gone anywhere. UNLV was in there. Georgia Tech was in there when Kenny Anderson was at Georgia Tech. Dope. UNLV with Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson and those guys. So it was like, it was tough. So to stay home, it was great, man. This whole coaching thing came about because of a friend, Desmond Merriweather, getting sick and getting diagnosed with stage 4 cancer when I retired from the NBA. It was right after the Heat, actually. And, I remember talking to Jay Will, shout out to Jay Will, about the kid Nick Calathis that I think he was at Florida.
Yeah, he went to Florida.
And then Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
It was like my last few months or whatever in Miami with y'all, UD. And we were talking about D Rose and all this. And after I got cut by the Heat, I came back home and started hanging around D Rose and that gang. And then my friend was sick. And, man, it just kind of all flowed for me to start coaching middle school. I had an AAU program, and then I coached high school. And then when this job came about, man, it was unfortunate for Coach Tubby Smith, who was a legend, one of only, I think, 4 African-American coaches to win a national title. It just didn't work out for him, and the timing was just perfect. Coming back, man, is definitely a dream come true. To be doing this right now, just finished my 7th year. It's crazy how time flies.
Man.
And just happy to be back home to be able to help the hometown.
You know what I think gets lost in all this, and I think is a respect to you, a guy who was one of the best basketball players, in my opinion, to ever play, is that you didn't just become the coach at Memphis. And that story of you going and coaching middle school, high school, AAU, everyone just thinks, because that's how life works. You wake up and all of a sudden Penny Hardaway is the head coach at the University of Memphis. You're like, oh, they're just going to give it to him because he played there. No, I'm a fucking coach middle school forever. AAU had the program forever, was the elite program, and then he wins 2 state championships, right, at East?
Yeah, three in a row.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like they act like it just happened. No, they put in the work to do it. It's dope.
Fellas, I'm talking to y'all one more time. Nobody likes to wait. None of us. I can't stand being in traffic. I can't stand waiting for my coffee. I hate waiting to get off work. So why would I make my woman wait? I don't even wait in line. I get out and leave. Can you imagine if my woman was waiting on me and she walked out the house and left? So don't make her wait. Stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. Have that roast box in your pocket, have it in your glove compartment, have it in your wallet, wherever you need it. But boy, you need to stay hard. Fellas, take control of your sex life. Dominate your bedroom. She might never tell you, but she love it when you run the show. Roast Box is a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who need a secret weapon against that wet noodle. They hit the bloodstream faster because they dissolve under the tongue. And getting hard faster means there's no more waiting to perform, baby. Roast Box gives you the boost to last longer, and everyone gets more pleasure and climaxes more. Y'all definitely gonna have to hydrate at the end. Ro connects you with medical providers 100% online, so there's no awkward conversation with in-person providers. If approved, treatment shipped directly to your door. No, it ain't coming in a bow, but you got that Ro. If prescribed, new sexual health patients get $15 off your first order of Sparks on a recurring plan. Connect with your provider at ro.co/OGs to find out if prescription Ro Sparks are right for you. That's ro.co/OGs for $15 off your first order.
Playoff basketball is here, and there is still plenty of game left to be played. Don't miss a second of hoops action with my partners at DraftKings Sportsbook. From every game day until the trophy is lifted, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with same-game parlays, odds boost, and so much more. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OGs. The crown is yours. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers, use my promo code OGs and bet just $5 on any wager to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code OGs only at DraftKings Sportsbook.